In the last video, we were creating our first component, and I was highlighting the importance that data shall be a function. To really understand what can go wrong if it weren't one, we have to cheat, because I can't use an object because Vue.js will actually halt and give me a warning. But I can create a new data object outside of Vue.js where I set status to critical, and now I can return the data here, which is an object, right? But now we're cheating because now I'm returning the same data object, and I mean the same not content-wise, but actually the same place in memory in all instances of this component. So if we create the component twice, as we do here, I actually do have two instances with the same data object. The thing Vue.js tries to avoid by forcing us to use a function, but it's not able to detect our cheat here. So with that, if I hit enter, we see critical. Now we will see the problem once I add something in my template here. Let's say I add parentheses, where I then in the parentheses simply add a button, like this. And on this button here, and it's a bit hard to read because it's a string, I say change, and I want to execute with @click a method named change status, like this. Now, of course, I have to register that, so I will set up my methods object here. And here it's fine to use an object because each method will be running only in this component context here. So here I will have my change status method, which is a function where I now say this status, and this is cool, we can still access this with the this keyword even though it's enclosed in a function. Vue.js will handle this for us in the background, equal to normal. Now if I hit Control Enter here and I click change, you see it change in both instances and not just in the one where I clicked it. This is the issue with having a shared data object. Again, it's not an issue for the methods object here because that works differently behind the scenes, because there we do have our change status, or we do have our functions which access the current instance with the this keyword. So there we don't have a shared instance. But the data, well, that is the data. And therefore, this is one place in memory. We have different pointers pointing to the same place, and therefore we change the same data here. Now, if I comment this out and remove my cheat, so instead here I again return an object, so a new object, not a shared one with different places in memory therefore, and I set my status to critical here, well, now you will see that if I hit Control Enter and I click change, it only changes in the instance where I clicked on change. Again, because now we have two different objects, and I mean different places in memory, two different objects in memory, and we access them here with this, and this refers to the different objects, which is why we don't have a problem with having methods as an object here. This will only refer to the instance or to the object of this Vue component. This is key to understand, this difference in objects, that each Vue component is its own object, but if we were to share the same data source, we would run into problems, which is why data needs to be a function, and that's the only thing we need to watch out here for. With that, we saw how to create a simple component. Now next, I want to dive deeper into how we can use these components, because right now it's registered globally. Which means if I were to have a second Vue instance here, and I use my component there, it would use the same component setup up here. We'll have a look at how we can change this in the next video.